It's Reverend Susan, and I hope you are having a great day. In today's story, we heard about Jesus coming into a synagogue and just amazing everyone. Now, a synagogue is a bit like a chapel, which is where I am now, or a church, or a temple, or even a school. It's a place where people would gather to talk about God's laws. You'll remember that Moses went up the mountain, Mount Sinai, and when Moses came down off of the mountain, he carried back down to the people these 2 stone tablets. And on those tablets were written God's laws, which we call the 10 Commandments. Or in Godly Play, we call them the 10 best ways to live. And those commandments include things like love your mom and dad, don't lie, don't steal, worship God and God only. And so that day, Jesus had come into this synagogue where they were talking about God's commandments. And when Jesus arrived, he started talking about those laws in a way that made everybody say, whoa, wait a minute, who is this guy? He's speaking about the law as if he wrote those commandments. They all realized that Jesus had what they called authority. Now that's a big word, authority. But imagine for a minute that you're in your front yard and your mom or your dad are teaching you to throw the football, right? How to take your arm back, how to let the ball roll off your fingertips. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady walks into your front yard and says, hey, this is how you throw a football. Right? Well, Tom Brady has authority where football is concerned. Jesus, though, Jesus has authority where everything is concerned. You'll remember maybe the story of Jesus and his friends in a boat on the sea. They're in the boat and the storm comes up and the rain starts to come down and the wind starts to blow and the boat is just rocking and rolling. And meanwhile, Jesus is just asleep in the front of the boat. And his friends wake him and say, Jesus, don't you care that we're drowning? And Jesus gets up and he looks around and he says to the water, be still, and the water quiets. That is authority, right? Authority even over the wind and the waves. In today's story, when Jesus goes into the synagogue and talks with such authority, he meets a man who is not behaving right, a man who seems to be like taken over by something in his mind that is just making him crazy. And Jesus says to that man and to whatever is happening inside him, he says, hey, get out of him. Be still. And all of a sudden the man's whole mind just quiets down. And he's back to his regular right self. That is authority. Now, we don't have exactly the same kind of authority that Jesus does, but we have authority because we can decide how we're going to behave, we can decide what words we're going to use, we can decide whether we're going to take care of our things, right? That's our authority. And if we think of ourselves as being under Jesus' authority, well then we can ask ourselves, gosh, if Jesus were here, and actually he is here because he's always with us, if Jesus were here, what would Jesus say? What would Jesus do? And then we would be teaming up our authority with Jesus, who has authority over everything. Jesus tells us in a different place in the Bible that we will do things that are greater than the things that he did. Can you imagine that? He did some pretty good things. But I wonder, what great thing would you like to do? I hope I see you soon so that you can tell me. And then in the meantime, tell your mom or your dad and ask them, what great thing do they want to do? And maybe together you can think of a great thing to do together. And then add Jesus, and boy, you've got a team. So that's the story for today. Jesus is with us, shares his authority with us, asks us to use our authority only for good, the way Jesus used his authority for good. To heal the sick, right? To help the poor, to take care of those in prison, to visit the sick. I hope you have a great week. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.